riding round in that Texas town. About to shack outside the game. And you know what I'm talking about. Just let me know if you wanna go to that home out on the range. They got a lot of nice girls. I'm racing.
Hey guys. Sorry. Thank you, Mathis, for telling me that I have no sound. So let's just kind of redo the intro real quick. So guys, again, like I know that most people do, you know, uh, hot dogs and hamburgers for like sort of like almost like this holiday, but I just felt like doing something Mexican today. So we're doing skirt steak tacos with an elote corn. But then I'm also doing a bit of a cocktail here. So you guys all visually saw that just a moment ago. So I won't do that again here. But yeah, so the grill's heating up right now. And the first thing we're going to be doing is oh, by the way, you guys didn't hear this. Thank you for everybody that served. Of course, we obviously value you guys a ton because if it weren't for our brave soldiers, for men and women, we wouldn't have a free country, right? So again, thank you guys for serving. And with that, let's go ahead and get back to the action here. Um, So again, I have the skirt steak here. I bought that from Whole Foods, grass fed. Um, and in case you guys didn't hear earlier, I'll be doing a bit of a cocktail here too. But it's good. It's good to stay hydrated with water, of course. So we're gonna move the steak out of the way real quick, and we actually need to do the corn first, um, because that'll probably take the longest to cook. Um, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take all this out of the bag first. I'm gonna set it off to the side, and I'm gonna shuck them out here, but I will wash them off inside though. Um, so I'm just gonna put that bag there. And again, in case you're not from the south or you don't shuck corn off them, you just find one of the ends, and then just there is like a stem down here, so you can usually just kind of just you're gonna sort of break it off like that. Again, there's a lot of hair, a lot of you know fibers and whatnot. But I will wash that off inside. The main thing we want to do right now is just get all these shucked. But Mathis, again, thank you for telling me I didn't have sound because otherwise it would be like 3 hours in before you or before I even realized it myself. We also have Kevin Hawthorne again. Kevin, welcome. I haven't seen who else is in the chat, but I'll check here in just a moment. Um, but again, sort of amateur hour for me. That's two of the three. Again, just kind of break that stem. All right, so these are ready to be washed. I'm also going to clean up my trash a bit here and take all this nonsense inside. Um, so just kind of look at my corn for a bit while I go. Or actually, you know what? No, I need to bring that with me. Uh, What am I saying, guys? What am I saying? So I'll be right back. I'm going to wash this off and then I'll be right back. Okay, guys, I have a few more things with me. I'm going to clean this cutting board off. So I've got some foil here, some salt and pepper. And then I will be cheating just a little bit. This is spray on butter. I think that's just, I guess, better for when you're dealing with corn and you need like it evenly coated and all that. So let me go back and get the corn real quick. Okay, so I'll break the seal here. Actually, I didn't bring a knife. Let me go get a knife. Sorry. Thank you guys for your patience. Let's see who else we have. We have OC. Hey OC. Sorry, man. I didn't realize you were streaming too. But hey, man. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Chopping begins in 5 minutes. Well, yes, there is a lot of cilantro, a lot of parsley here. But we'll actually be using a we'll actually be using a food processor for that. But let's go ahead and get these corn or these. I get these ears of corn on. Again, what I'll do is I'm gonna just hit it with a bit of just some spray on butter. Okay, let's do a bit of pepper, salt, and then we'll just kind of twirl that around a little bit. Maybe just a little bit more pepper, but again, everything that kind of fell to the bottom can can grab that, or can sort of cover all the other sides too. So anyway, so we're going to cover this up. I will put them all on the grill at the same time. Let's not lose any of the corn. So again, we'll hit it with some spray on butter. Again, sort of like this spray on butter, like is very much a American thing. I doubt that you would be able to find this in like a European store. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. I just realized I got a little bit of butter on the camera here. So we'll fix that here in just a little bit. Okay. That one's ready to go. Put that there. And finally, we'll do this one here if he doesn't roll away. Man, this nozzle. I just buttered myself. All right, we have the butter. And something that I probably should have done is hit it all with a little bit of this, the tahine. Um, but that's fine because later on when we actually, you know, finish these off, like we will use this too. So anyway, so that's good to go now. And these guys will just go on the top part of the grill here. So we'll adjust this. Okay. Corn is done. The next thing we need to do is actually probably, probably the part that's actually going to take the most time. I may have, you're going to. I probably should have done this first, but that's all right. It's the actual, so like the chimichurri marinade. Um, and I'm just now realizing that my cord is incredibly short here. And no, that's not a euphemism for anything else. Um, but I'm just going to plug this in and see if I can. I'll just swap this plug out. Put that there. Will this reach to the table? No, it honestly won't. All right. You know what? I'm just going to scoot the table forward a little bit, so you guys may get a shake here for a little bit. Okay. There we go. So now this guy's here. He's ready to go. And what we'll do, I'll actually probably just focus on that for a moment. Let's switch this around. Okay, that looks good. We got 3 people watching. Again, if you're here in the chat, I'm going to clean this off real quick. If you're in the chat, let me know you're here. Say hello. Next week, Logan Hall does 3 chicken wings with the with the fried rice. Mathis, I did actually buy um, when I went to Whole Foods. I actually did buy some chicken thighs, boneless, skinless. But then I also bought some chicken leg quarters. So so I will be probably doing a Peruvian style chicken leg quarter dish. In like the coming weeks. It's something that I made last year, and I really really liked it. Um, so I'll do that again. Um, but anyway, let's move some stuff out of the way here. Let me get my pieces of paper. So we don't need that one right now. So let's do this. There we go. So we need about 1 cup of fresh parsley. Now, if you have flat leaf parsley, then that's even better. Um, but if you don't, then that's all right. That's about 1 cup. Now, I will be actually saving this, or like the rest of this, for a different dish. I'll be doing swordfish for dinner, and I don't know if I'll stream that. Like, I don't necessarily want to do like 2 streams in one day, um, but anyway, so that's about 1 cup. Let's go ahead and you know what I didn't do. There we go. And I always have trouble with this thing. It's not super clear when it's locked in versus when it's not. There we go. Let's plug it back in, making sure not to turn this over. There we go. Okay, let's try. Still needs to be finer. So I'll do that a little bit longer. All right, so now we need 4 garlic cloves. And it says minced here, but like, well, okay. You know what? I will actually somewhat mince them because what I should have done is I should have just put in the garlic first, mince that, um, and then do the parsley actually. Because if I wanted to try to mince the garlic now in there, it would be much harder given that there's parsley already in there. And you want the garlic to be sort of more on the bottom, closer to the blades. But I'm gonna just pull out my clove of garlic here. I will just kind of roughly mince these. It doesn't have to be perfect, but 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's put that over there. And where did my knife go? Here's my knife. So again, so you can press down on the garlic to kind of crush it a bit, and by crushing it, you make it very easy to expose the actual garlic itself versus the sort of like the papery skin. It's a garlic stream, guys. It's what you guys always wanted. Again, I should have probably pressed on this a little bit harder to make it, slightly easier, but and I like to cut off these end pieces here. You don't necessarily have to do that, but that's just what I do. Now let's just do a rough chop here. I'm not going to do this super fine because we're going to let the food processor kind of finish it off. So I just start out by just kind of clustering them all together and just doing nice big chops. I'll do that. Yeah. So let's just run through it one more time, and then I think that's going to be good enough. Okay. Something else we'll need is a shallot here. And while we're doing the garlic, I figure we can also do this too. Now, if you ever go to fancy restaurants, you'll see the chefs basically taking this off sort of layer by layer. And then they stack them all on top of each other. I'll just show it to you here real quick. But again, like you just kind of put these shells inside of each other. And they kind of lay flat. And they kind of slant it a bit. Now, again, sir, this is very, very rough. I mean, I could do it much finer if I wanted to, but again, the food processor is going to take care of most of that for us. What else did it say? Let's see. So it does call for fresh oregano. Unfortunately, that's actually not one of the things that I had planted this year in my herb garden. And also, my corn is getting a little too hot there. I'm going to actually open this up here and let that get back down to about 350. But anyway, so let's get a couple tablespoons of just going sort of. Actually, you know what it says? 1 tablespoon dried. So let me go get the dried real quick. Back down to about 300, so that'll level out at 350. Um, so I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. This is probably a good opportunity to go ahead and chop again. So that's looking good. I also have some cilantro here. Sorry, I bumped the camera. Let's put that in. Okay. Half a cup of olive oil. This is a new bottle. And they don't make it easy. There you go. Now it's hot. It calls for half a cup. I think that's a little much for how much I have. I'm just going to start off with a third of a cup. And if we need to add more, we can add more. And I'm just going to eyeball this like a red wine vinegar. That's 2 tablespoons. 1, 2. We'll do. You know what? I'll also. So, okay. So like the next thing is lemon, but I also want to utilize the actual zest. Not the lemon. So I'm gonna go get my zester, and I'm gonna zest the lemon first. So I'll be right back. So this is a microplane zester. Really, really useful tool. Let's actually get the sticker off first. But again, I'm just kind of taking off the skin of the lemon. See, there's all the lemon skin. So we'll put that on there. And then, of course, we will juice the lemon too. Yeah, I should have done that the other way, but oh well. Now it calls for 1 tablespoon. So I'm just going to do half of a lemon here. And we can save the other half for later. If you like red pepper flakes, you can add those in. What I'm actually going to be doing instead is substituting just a red Fresno chili. So this is also called a red jalapeno too. So similar to what I was doing a moment ago, let's just get the sides of this. And then we kind of like expose the heart of it. We'll take that out. So now we just have the skin. I'm just going to roughly do this. Let's do one final pass through. What else? We need a bit of salt, of course. A bit of pepper. Okay. And let's close this up. And now that we have liquids in there, it's going to actually get to a much more of like a sort of like a sauce, like a paste. And there we go. Let's check the consistency. Really good. But let's add a bit more of the olive oil. Yeah, I guess when it did say a whole cup of olive oil, and I guess it really meant it. So we're going to add back in a bit more of that. And I think that's going to be it. Yep. So this is the consistency that I was looking for. So again, it's almost like a sauce, right? So we're not going to use all of this on the steak. We're actually going to keep back some of it for when we just sort of finish all the tacos too. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a bag real quick, and then I'm going to put the steak in the bag, and then we'll put the marinade in the bag, and then we'll let that sit in the fridge for maybe 30 to 45 minutes. All right, so I would recommend a gallon bag. If you're in the UK and you don't use gallons, then I'm sorry. Um, then you just can't make this. I'm sorry. Um, but what we'll do is we'll put this steak inside the bag, and then I'm going to use maybe just a little over half of this. Yeah. Okay. That's all I'm going to use. So now I'll just kind of gently massage this marinade over the steak. And one thing I could have done to make this a little bit messy, or a little bit less messy, is just close the bag first and then do all the tossing and all that. Make sure, try to get all the air out. So we're gonna let this sit in the fridge for 30 to 45 minutes. Again, you can do this more like 2 to 3 to 4 hours. But again, I'm not going for like the perfect bite here today. I'm just going for something that's going to taste good, basically. So we're going to put this in the fridge for a bit, and then we're going to come back, and then we're going to start making the tortillas. So I'll be right back. Okay, guys, it's tortilla time. I'm actually going to put the rest of this in the fridge, but let's also clean up a little bit here. So I'll keep this lemon half. I'll keep those two. Here in a moment, I'll check the chat to see if there's anybody that has commented since I've been cooking here. Um, so that's pretty well cleaned off here. Who do we have? Let's see. Boston, I'm doing a skirt steak tonight too. Awesome. Hey, Boston, you have good taste, except for those peach fucking ribs, man. You can't do that. You can't make peach fucking ribs. Um, you forgot to take a shot of tequila. Yeah, Van Lux, man. Like that's what happened last time too. Um, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do that. I'll put this back in the fridge, and then I'll go take, or again, I'll get a shot glass, and then we'll have a bit of tequila too. So I have a Titans shot glass because when you're a Titans fan, we really really suck. So you use this quite a bit, as a Titans fan. But yeah, let's just go ahead and take a shot, man. So what I'm using today is Ocho. Ocho is a very good tequila. So we'll actually be using this in another cocktail a little bit later on. But again, if you guys are drinking with me, cheers to the weekend. Cheers to all the veterans, all the active duty members out there. This one's for you. Okay. So what we'll do, let's clean out this bowl a little bit. Actually, let me turn on the grill real quick. All right, so that's preheating now. Uh, let's see. Okay, so Van Lux, we got you, brother. I took the shot. Right back in 4 or 5 hours once the marinade is done. No, no, Boston, Boston. I know you guys, don't want to sit through sort of all that, for all that time. Um, so again, I'm only doing the marinade for like 30 to 45 minutes here. Um, will you get a better tasting steak if you let it go longer? Yeah. Um, but I mean, it's kind of hard to mess up steak tacos. I mean, it's going to taste good whether it's been marinated for 45 minutes or 4 hours. So anyway, we don't need the knife right now. Let's put that off to the side. Um, what I will do is go ahead and put some masa corn flour in here. And in terms of how much, I'm putting roughly a cup in there. But what we want to do now is I'm actually going to clean this out. We're going to put some hot water in there, and then we'll kind of incorporate the hot water. Oh, you know what? Let's do this too. Make sure to add some salt in here. The last time I made these, I actually forgot to put salt in, so they tasted, they were good, but they were just a little bit bland, I guess. So again, always add some salt in there. I'm gonna go clean this out, and then I'll be right back. Got some hot water. And something else that we'll be doing is we'll be making pickled red onions. So I'm going to be slicing them thin on this. But we'll do that once these guys are kind of resting for a moment. Again, so this is just hot water. I put it in the microwave for um, about a minute. Um, and so what we'll do is I'm just gonna let this cool down for just a few seconds, um, and then I'll start. You know what? Let me go get some gloves just to make this less messy. Okay. Okay, got some gloves. And this will kind of feel like you're playing with sand, but again, just kind of really try to incorporate all the water in there. And you basically want to add as little of water as you canned. And what I mean by that is you basically just want it to all come together in sort of a nice ball, but you don't want it to be too flaky. Like basically, um, when it gets to the point where it's just starting to not flake, then I think that's the perfect amount of water. So you can kind of press it down too. But yeah, we're getting there. Let's do a little bit more. Let's kind of go along the sides and get all that sort of scraped out. So this is our ball. And what we'll do is I'm going to get a damp, warm rag and put this over this so that that can start to proof a little bit. So I brought out a rag and here it is. So I'm going to actually, you know what? Oh, there's not enough water here. Okay. I'll be right back and make this a little bit more. So I've got a nice damp rag here. We're going to put that over that. And we're just going to let that kind of sit in the sun for a bit. Let's clean off our working space here. So the next thing we want to do is do a pickling process. I'll put that off to the side a little bit here, but we're not going to use all of this red onion. We're just going to use about a half of it. So I'm going to run this through. I have a feeling that I want to make this a little bit taller. So let me see. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good size. Let me just bump it up just a little bit more. Again, don't be the hero here. Don't try to get down to like the very, smallest of a nub, because if you do that, then your fingers will become a nub. But here is our finished product here, or not the finished product, but again, all the red onion. So what I'm going to do, I have a little mason jar here, and I'm just going to stuff all these onions in here. And it's probably better just to do this inside, but like to actually make the pickling liquid, You need a bit of sugar. You need a bit of white vinegar. You can also use apple cider vinegar. Um, but um, but basically, I mean, it doesn't take very long for this to pickle here. Um, but you can use a bit of peppercorns, a bit of bay leaf in there too if you want. But basically, I'm gonna do this part off camera, just because I didn't bring my little one burner thing out here. Give me just like, yeah. I mean, this may take a second, guys. So again, if you want to go watch OC stream, whatever, then that's okay. But just make sure that you come back for all the goodness here. I'm also going to turn down this grill over here real quick. Okay, guys. So just sort of hang tight for a bit. I'm gonna be back maybe in 5 minutes or so. Um, so go ahead and do like your intermission. If you want to get some popcorn or whatever you can. But I'll be back in just a little bit. Just a quick little break here, guys. So again, I have some sugar in there, I have some water, and then I have some white distilled vinegar with a few peppercorns and bay leaves. But again, I'll be cooking this on the inside because I don't have my thing out here today. Sorry. All right. So I figured, I mean, it was going to take a minute for all that to heat up in there. I think what I'll do instead is just, um, I guess, just give a quick update. Let me do this. I'll take off my gloves here. Oh, you know what? Actually, yeah, yeah. Let's just do a quick sort of life update. These gloves are kind of tough to work with. Okay. Let me flip the camera around and we can also see if there's any other comments here. Let's go back to Settings. Oops. Camera. Let's do front. All right. Okay. Yeah, we get the grill. Right the back too. Um, so uh so I've started to do my hair a little bit differently lately. I've decided to get serious about like skincare, like in like a hair sort of regimen, I guess. Um, all the colony friends of mine, they wanted me to get a fade, it's like a skin fade, like, sort of all the way, up. And I just thought, no, that's not really for me. Um, but instead, what I'm going to do probably is what's called a layered flow. Now, I mean, I have to let my hair grow out for probably like a few months, honestly, to really pull it off. But again, I mean, I think it already looks better, so good for that. Um, One thing I want to do real quick is just open up that grill because it's getting too hot. So I'll be right back. And something else that I forgot, by the way, is the actual tortilla press. So I'll get that real quick. All right. So the brining, or not the brining, but like the pickling liquid. Um, I mean, it's not quite boiling yet, but that's all right. Um, so this is the tortilla press that I have. It's from the brand called Victoria. This is not stainless steel, cast iron, basically. So it's pretty heavy. There are some inferior ones, to be honest, that are plastic and whatnot. I think if you're serious about cooking, you should just go ahead and get like a one like this, basically. But again, we're gonna let those or let the overall ball sort of proof a little bit more, and then we'll hit them on the actual sort of griddle itself. Like, so that's why I turned on that grill. Um, but again, like we're not doing like any like frying of the tortillas today. That's more like for chips. But again, I want to actually use these like for tacos, right? So anyway, um, um, but there was a bit of bad news yesterday. I ended up getting into a bit of a fender bender. It's like my car got a little bit damaged, but like the other guy got it way worse. Like this whole bumper fell off. And it was sort of a weird situation too. I was parking, or I was basically doing like a parallel park, on kind of like a narrow sort of residential road, like with cars parked on both sides. Um, because there was a bar that I wanted to go to that was just sort of off, like literally like 100 feet away, basically. And so anyway, so I was basically going down this road. I was maybe like 100 feet away from like the bar itself, um, and there was an open spot, but I had to parallel park to get into it. So I basically lined up to the car in front of me, but as I was doing that, there was a Kia coming the other direction, wanting to pass me. And so it was going to be tight anyway, but basically I had to kind of let him know like, hey, I'm parallel parking. So I put my blinkers on, just saying like, hey, I'm going to get into the spot. Um, and so anyway, so I put on my blinkers. I tell him, hey, I'm going to turn here. Um, and then basically I start to back up. Start to turn the wheel. I start to look behind me, right? Because I want to make sure I'm not going to hit the curb. But then as I turned around, the guy thought that by me putting on my blinkers, I was like stopping, like as if like I was like an Uber Eats driver or something. But like, first off, why would I stop in the middle of the road where like nobody can get by? So why would I stop there, right? Um, so anyway, so he thought I was stopping, and he just decided just to go ahead and try to pass me. Um, and while I was doing that, sort of as you parallel park, right, like sort of your like the side of your car kind of sticks out a little bit as they're turning, right? So basically, he clipped my front bumper on the left side because I was trying to park on the right side of the street. But anyway, um, so yeah, so I mean, like it started out just like a little bit heated, but then we kind of cooled down, and we were all cool, like we exchanged details and whatnot. Um, but again, I mean, like mine came out not nearly as bad as his did. But again, if you drive a Kia, that's kind of what you expect. Not as great build quality. Sorry. Um, but anyway, so yes, yeah. So that's a bit of bad news, I guess. But again, I like to keep these streams positive and whatnot. And I think with that out of the way, I'm gonna go check on the pickling liquid in there to see if it's boiling yet. And if it's boiling, then I'll go ahead and top that up. I'll put it in the fridge for a little bit, just to kind of like cool down. But then after that, we can probably go ahead and do the second part um, of the tortillas and actually form them into balls. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let's get the glove back on. And these gloves are always tough. I mean, I wouldn't want to be a doctor. Not just because of the gloves, right? But man, these are kind of tough. But anyway, so we're done with the mandolin. And I brought two plastic bags out here because we want to put those on either end of the press, um, because that way it's going to give us a much cleaner, product, basically when we're smashing these. So let me get the. Let's. Oh yeah. So here's our tortillas. Again, I had a warm, damp cloth over this just to let it proof just a little bit. I mean, again, like we're not going for uh, you know, the tortilla world champion tortillas or anything like that, right? But again, we have this ball here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to, I need a little bit more room here. I'm going to back you guys up just a little bit. You know what? And actually, you guys want to see this too, of course. So what I'll do, um, actually, I can't do this. I have to take off my glove again. Well, yeah, that's one way to take off a glove. But let's do this. Let's go back to triple camera. Let's get the broken glove out of the way. Let's see. What can you guys see? Okay, that's actually a pretty good angle. Um, so what I'll do, I'm just going to break off. Again, it's a little bit crumbly still, but that's okay. Actually, you know what? That's going to be too big of a tortilla. You know, I will add just a little bit more water here. Yeah, it was getting just a little too crumbly on me. But again, you add all this extra water in at the very end in case it becomes just a little too much. Anyway, I'm going to tear off a piece about that size. About like that. I'm going to place that on the table here, or on the cutting board rather. So that one's a little bit bigger, but that's all right. And again, I'm not necessarily targeting a specific amount of tortillas. It's just sort of how much I end up with. But I'm going for kind of like the street style tacos, that size. So I think we'll get maybe two more. This guy's kind of falling, been sort of falling apart on me. Didn't quite get enough liquid, but that's all right. And then finally, this guy's going to be a little bit chunky, but that's all right. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're left with 7 balls here. And then what I'll do, let's get the other piece plastic. So I'll just do the biggest one first, just to see how far off we are. Yeah, so that one was definitely a bit on the larger side, but that's all right. No worries. But what I'll do, I'm just going to go ahead and throw this on the grill as we do this, just to kind of save on space too. Actually, you know what? I need some oil. And I don't want to use olive oil. Let me go get the corn oil because that's going to be best. I'll be right back. So I have a plate to put them on. All right, so this guy's ready to go on. I got the oil on. And I really shouldn't have. Yeah, let's just do it like that. All right, so that one broke in half, unfortunately. So we're down to 6. Honestly, 6 is going to be fine. Actually, 5. What? I thought we had 7, but maybe I miscounted. Anyway, so let's do this. Let's put that down. Put it down like that. Yeah, and that's a much better size, honestly. But the thing like I kind of screwed up on is if you don't take off both of these sort of pieces of plastic or whatever because like you need something for like to hold on to. So I'm gonna go put this over there now. Something else I need is a spatula, so I'll be right back. Spatula's here, so let's go ahead and finish these up. My bag kind of got cinched there, being close to the fire. Yep, so that's kind of the size I'm looking for there. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this one down. I'll go ahead and flip the other one too while I'm at it. Yeah, let's finish these up. And then I'll move you guys over there so you can see that going on too. Yeah, that might have been a little bit too thin there because now it's tough to get off. There's something else you can do is you can also use like some non-stick spray. Yeah, I'm just gonna reball that. And what I may do is just go ahead and get some non-stick spray, put on that. So I'll be right back. Just put that down. Let's try that again. Yeah, that spray made all the difference. I'm going to put this down real quick. So we got 3 more. Left this over here. The last ball. Kind of came out a little bit funny, but that's all right. So now I'll take you guys over here. So it's getting close, but that's kind of what we're looking for there. So we'll close that up for a second. Let those guys cook. Guys, it's almost time for the main, it's like the main event. I know that we've been doing a lot of opening acts, but the steak was just about ready. So we're gonna let these cook for just a little bit longer. So while these cook, I'm actually gonna go ahead and get the steak out. So I'll be right back. All right, so these guys are pretty much done. Got some nice little brown spots on that. So we're done with that for today. I always turn off the grill after using them. And now we're left with some nice corn tortillas. So let's take this back over there. I'll put that right about there for now. Something else that we can do, I guess, while this steak finishes up on like a marination is actually do our little cocktail. So let me go back. Let's see, who do we have? We have Mathis, of course. Uh, uh, Diego's funny. It says that Logan has been made public. Logan was at fault cooking while driving. Someone finally caught me. You guys caught me. Logan Hall seek help. Logan Hall scroll streams baby. So I'm gonna look at my recipe here. All right. So what we're making is a spicy it was sort of spicy margarita with pineapple. So in this sort of squirt bottle, I actually have some pineapple juice. But I'm actually gonna go fill this up with some ice, and I need to find a lid to it too. But then we'll go ahead and make this two here while the steak kind of sort of finishes up. But I'll be right back. Okie doke, guys. It's time to make a cocktail. So I have some ice in here. And the first thing we need to do, actually, anytime you make a margarita, don't forget to salt the rim first. Um, I see, too many just basically like they make the cocktail, and then they're like, "Oh, I totally meant to do the rim here." So I have some. So again, so normally you would use, like ice, or sorry, you would just use, kosher salt or whatever. But since this is sort of sort of Mexican inspired, I'm going to put down some 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 fish there's like this. But anyway, we're going to spread that out just a little bit, and then what we can do is we can actually use a lime. That's so I'm just going to put sort of some lime around the rim here so that we can make it stick. All right. So we have our rim ready. Now, did I take that inside with me? Yes, I did. I think I took the ingredients inside with me. So I'll be right back. Actually, I didn't take it inside. It just fell on the ground here. So 2 ounces of tequila. So that's done. 1 ounce of fresh lime juice. I'm just going to do like a quarter of a. You know what? Let's do this. I'll just kind of gauge when it hits an ounce. That's about good there. 1 ounce of pineapple juice. So I don't have any agave syrup. That's the one thing I don't have, unfortunately. But then we'll also just do a little bit of salt in here. Oh, you know what? I forgot the orange liquor or the orange liqueur. Okay. It's pretty good. Um, Now I will go put ice in this glass now that we have the rim. So I'll be right back. All right, so we have the ice, we have all that. I also had, here it is. So I like to double strain all my cocktails. Let's make that, let's make sure that's in position. It didn't quite fill up all the way, but that's all right. But that is my spicy pineapple margarita. Cheers. Mm, that's a keeper. That's very good actually. Um, yeah, yeah. So using this was way better idea. I'm gonna open up the grill a little bit because we want it to be hot. So probably what we'll go ahead and do is I will sear the corn. Let's see. Mathis. Bobby Souffle doesn't cook shit, Logan Hall. You start from scratch. Hey man, that's right. That's right, baby. Um anyway, so what I'll do is this is slowly climbing up. You know, again, I want to get to like maybe 5 or even 600, maybe like 550 here. Because that'll be a good searing temperature basically. I also need a pair of tongs, so I'll be right back to get those. All right, so we have the tongs ready. I'm going to pull these off, and I'll put my gloves back. All right, let's see how these guys are doing. Yep, so these are looking good. Like there's already like a little bit of a sear there at the bottom. But what I'll do, I'm going to take all these off, and then I'm going to hit it with a little bit more of like butter, and then we'll sear it. All right. So I'm also going to take off this top rack here, and that's pretty nice and close. And let's go ahead and hit these guys with a bit more butter. All right, so I'm gonna let those cook for just a minute. We also need one more plate and another ingredient here, so I'll be right back. So the other ingredient is a bit of cotija cheese. So it's a popular sort of a Mexican style cheese, but again, we're going to use that. Yeah, I kind of want to add a bit more charcoal. Um, so I'm going to move these off to the side here. But that's not even right. Cool. Oh, I hear a bit of thunder. Let's get the tool again. Yeah, so the fire isn't quite as hot as I want it to be. Um, so I think what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to pull these guys off just for a second and wait until this is a bit warmer. But they're some like they're honestly done already. But let's give this just a moment because I want this to get up close up to 500 degrees. Um, so what I'll do here is we can make one more thing while we're waiting here. And that's going to be sort of a tahine, uh, lime crema type of thing that we'll put over the tacos here. So what I'll do is put you guys back over here, and we can enjoy our cocktail here too. Really nice. Look, we can be even fancy here and add a bit of lime. There we go. All right. So once that hits 500, we'll go back to the corn and then we'll finally do the steak. Um, but let's go ahead and make a crema here. I'm going to go back and get some sour cream, and then we pretty much have everything else we need here. A little bit of hot sauce too, actually. So I'll be right back. sour cream. I didn't get a cup. Let me go back and get a cup real quick. Okie doke. So, to make this, you need some amount of sour cream. Depending on how much people, or you can sort of depending on how many people you're feeding, it might be more or less than what I'm using here. But I'm using 3 generous scoops. So one thing we'll want to do is we'll add some hot sauce. I'm also going to be using, let me see here. I thought I had another line. Yeah, I did. Yes, I'm going to be mindful of this weather here. There might be some rain coming, so I'll be trying to wrap this up pretty soon here. But we have some lime in here, and we're also going to use some of the tahini. I'll add just a little bit extra salt in there too. Um, let's do a little bit of tequila in here too, because why not? Why not? So I'm just going to use a spoon here to kind of get everything incorporated. But you could use a whisk, and honestly, that will be easier. Oh yeah, that's good. Maybe just a little bit more lemon. I'm gonna add just a little bit of water. Again, I mean, like it might have been a little too much water, but that's all right. Getting messy here now. That's what I'm looking for. A little bit more tahini. So we'll put that on top of our tacos when they're done. So we're at about 400 right now. So I'm just going to check the weather real quick, guys. It will go to a black screen, so just kind of bear with me real quick. But I want to see how close this weather is. Yeah, so we do have to kind of finish things up here rather quickly, guys. Um, so, um, yeah, so there is a storm coming, unfortunately. But what we'll do to kind of finish things out, is add a bit more tahini here. And then what we'll do, we're also going to use the other plate. We're going to make our in the word phase. So yeah, that's almost a 500. What I'll do, put down some cotija cheese. Kind of spread this out a little bit. What I'm going to do, I'm going to hit the corn with a bit more butter. Yeah, that's the fire I want. So let's see how quickly we can wrap this up, guys. So we'll just kind of, youngest, we heat these up, and that'll kind of finish those off, and then finally we'll put the seasoning on and whatnot. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go get a plate for these corns. I'll do that. So these are done. So what we'll do, I'm gonna hit this with a bit more of the butter, and we're gonna season them up. Yeah, maybe just a little bit more done than I wanted, but that's all right. So what I'll do, so that is our finish elote. Let's put that on the plate. Yep. So it's time to get the steak on. So what I'll do, I'll put you guys over here, and I'll drop you real nice. Sorry about that. All right, let's do the steak. Starting right. There goes nothing, guys. Yeah, so we're not really going with like a monitor today, honestly. The thing with skirt steak is, um, you know, you just kind of keep cooking it until it looks good, and then you pull it off. But you typically don't want to cook it too much, right? Because it's thin. Um, so you really are just looking for like a nice crust, and then you pull it off. Yeah, I mean, we did this at like a very good time here because it's starting to rain a bit. So probably what I will do, guys, is I'll probably just kind of finish things up inside and just kind of do like the presentation inside. But that's after everything cooked. Nice bit of fire action for you guys. Oh, my corns are getting wet now. Yeah, so we're just about there, I think. You know what? Let me will go get. Or, you know what? I mean, yes, yes. I mean, I will go get like my instant read thing real quick. Let's check. Yep, perfect. 130. That is good for me because this will also kind of raise a little bit. Um, I don't really have a good spot to put this. So let's close the shop here. And I think we'll finish inside, guys. So uh, I will put you guys right here just for the moment. And then let me go make a place for this real quick. I'll be right back. So I'll bring you guys inside real quick, and I'll have you look at the corn for a moment. Here's the steak. Back that up a little bit more. Got some cilantro and garlic. And the tortillas, of course. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set up just another quick little kind of a cutting station here for the steak. Then we'll make our tacos, and then we'll basically be done for the day. So let's do this. All right. So I think I left my knife out there. Yeah, I did. And the cheese. And my drink. Let's also check on our onions here. All right. So we are in a good position to finish everything out here. So let's see how we did on the steak. So again, so notice how the grains are going here. They're going like this. So in order for us to get, get them sort of cross against the grain, I'm going to split this up into 3 sections here. Pretty good. Not bad. So now, so again, so I've cut this up into 3 sort of manageable pieces here. And now what we'll do is we'll cut against the grain. Just into nice thin pieces. Yeah, so those, yeah, so I think those actually turned out pretty good. I'm gonna get another plate. Actually, this one's dirty. Let's put that off to the side. Oop. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna have like 2 tacos basically, and then 1 corn. But what we'll do to make this here is let's go ahead and put our tacos down. Corn tortillas from earlier. And what I'll do, I have some like some some chef sort of what do you okay? I'm blanking on the name here, but let's go ahead and kind of evenly disperse all these steak pieces. All right. Now, let's get the chimichurri from earlier. That'll be sort of our topping for sort of our sauce. I think I've run out of spoons here very conveniently. So what I'll do, I'll just use this one, but I'll wash it off first. Let's check the comments here. Is it going to let me? Okay. It's not going to let me check the comments right now, but again, so we have the nicely cooked steak here. Again, those will go into other meals. But then I have a clean spoon now, and we'll do the chimichurri salsa. Okay. Now what we'll do is, yeah, let's, you know what, let's save that piece for last. We can go ahead and do the cheese now. Okay. And then what do I want to do next? Let's go ahead and do the crema. I need to wash this off again. Again, try to, again, like you want to try to get all the clumps out, but sometimes you can't, so that's okay. Okay. And I'll do some cilantro. Let's do a bit more. Then finally the pickled onions. All right, I think that's everything. Have I missed anything? No. Okay, so then we'll put our corn down, and that, my friends, is my take on again, just steak tacos with some chimichurri sauce. Also have a sort of a tequila lime tahine crema. I've got pickled red onions, cilantro, and a cotija cheese. So, guys, if you enjoyed this, please make sure to give a like and a thumbs up, and tell me what to cook next. But again, hope you guys have a great long weekend. Think of everybody that's serving right now. And again, if you have anybody in your family that serves, go make sure to give them a call. Tell them you love them. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Thank you. Take care.